welcome to our first YouTube video. If you have no idea who we are, I'm Sahar and this is my husband Trey. We are kind of known a little bit on TikTok. We make a lot of TikTok videos and some of our followers were like, hey, you guys need to get on YouTube, so that's why we're here. Welcome to our channel. If you like what you're watching or you follow us on TikTok, make sure you subscribe and you can turn on the little bell icon so you can get notifications every time we post new YouTube videos. So this is going to be our first initial YouTube video ever to kind of kick off our channel, and we're going to start by just doing a really basic Q&A of just general questions that we get all the time, and then go a little bit more in depth with those questions because some of y'all have been asking us for quite some time to do this.
Yep, so all I can add to that is that we're gonna try to keep them short and sweet, but also get deeper than we do normally on our TikTok lives, because that's where people have gotten to know us. So we're not gonna have, questions going nonstop. We can actually take our time and answer for you guys. So that's what really this is. When we get all those questions, we're just gonna start directing people to this Q&A. So this one may be a little bit longer than most of our YouTube videos, but yeah, we're here just to hang out with you guys and let you get to know us and then get deeper.
Yeah, so we'll go ahead and just kick it off by introducing ourselves. I'm Sahar, I'm 25 years old. I was born and raised in Houston, Texas, and my ethnicity is Pakistani. So both my mom and dad are from Pakistan, and I was born and raised in the US, and I live in Houston, Texas.
Yep, like she said earlier, my name's Trey. Our last name is Davis. People like to ask, I guess, where we're from. So, like she said, we're from Houston, Texas, but I'm half Mexican, half white. And what I mean by that, my white side is from my dad's side, and he's got a lot of Scottish and Irish in him, so that's the white part. And then Mexican side is my mom, she's full Mexican, and my family is from Monterrey, Mexico. So that makes up the majority of who I am. We took DNA tests and I have little pieces of like other places, but white and Hispanic make up my majority. So I tell people I'm half white, half Mexican. But we're gonna go ahead and get started. What we're gonna do is I'm gonna read off questions. We've gotten a few that we've taken down that have been asked a lot during our TikTok short career that we've started. And then we also hosted, kind of like Sahar posted on her Instagram, if you have questions, go ahead and ask us here and we'll answer them in the YouTube video that we're about to do. So yeah, I'm gonna ask questions, we'll take turns answering. If one of us answers first and the other person has something to add, we'll go ahead and do that. But otherwise, we're just gonna go back and forth with them, and we're gonna go ahead and get started.
Right. So we're kicking off our first Q&A questions.
Yep. I guess we'll start right here. We'll start with a controversial one. Do you get hate from the Desi community?
You can answer first? Okay. So I will always split this question into two categories. You have the Desi community, that's like your face-to-face community that you grew up with, that you and your family's involved with, that you know from your local mosque and stuff like that, and then you have the Desi community that's on the internet that you don't necessarily know personally. And I'll say the community that's here, that's face-to-face, we have never had any type of negative backlash, at least not to our faces or to my family. Like, I'm sure people have negative things to say, but for the most part, they keep it to themselves, which it's like how most people are. Like, I don't think if someone feels a certain way about somebody, they ever go up to them and are like, hey, I don't agree with how you're living your life. 99% of the time, people mind their own business. However, on the internet, I think because like people are not face to face with you, they feel like they can say a lot more and they can get a little rude with it. So we do get quite a few negative responses, but at the same time, it's a pretty equal balance with how negative people are and then how positive they are as well. Like, there's a big part of the Desi community that is just proud of us and very accepting and really respectful to see that I, a Pakistani woman, married outside of my culture.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I guess all I would add to that is kind of just reinforce it. Like, we get a lot of hate, and we also get a lot of positivity and love. So there's a balance. That's it, really. I mean, it is what it is for us. All right, next question. I'll answer this one. Do you and Trey have any siblings? So I do. I have 4 siblings. One is a step sibling. I have an older sister who's 3 years older than me. Then I have 3 younger siblings, and they're 2 of them are in like their college age, which is what, like 19 to 22, somewhere around there. And then I have one younger sister who is still in high school. She's a junior in high school. And the other 2 younger siblings are brothers. So I have 2 sisters, 2 brothers.
And I only have 1 sibling. I just have an older brother. He's only older by 2 years, and since I'm 25, he's 27. Like, he's established in his career, so he's not in school or anything.
Yep.
That's it for me.
All right, next one. Okay, so we're gonna break this one up because we're gonna make it like past tense and present tense. So I guess I'll let Sahar start with past tense. So we're gonna say, did your family make your marriage easy or difficult?
Past tense. So this is referring to just getting to know each other and bringing our families together. I will say that it was not always easy. However, I do feel like my family may have been a little bit more open-minded than a lot of other Desi families. And I realized that over time from just doing TikTok and getting messages from a lot of you. So I won't say that it was the easiest, but I will say that however my family may have felt about me being in an interracial relationship, they never brought it to my husband or his family. Like, however they felt, they came to me about it. And however my husband felt about things, he came to me about it. So I was kind of the middle person, and I kept everything like, you know, if someone's saying something disrespectful, I don't feel like I need to share it with the other person to kind of ruin that image of each other.
Yeah, so to add on to hers, the past tense part of it, like, did family make it difficult? We're not gonna sit here and like lie to y'all and be like, no, from day one, like ground zero, everything has been perfect, like rainbows and butterflies. Like, even with a lot of marriages that aren't interracial or intercultural, like, I always hear about people's families like hating on the wife or the husband. And to be honest, like, outside of the cultural problems and like traditions and stuff like that, as far as like who we are as a person, I think I can speak for both of us and say both of our families like loved who both of us are.
Yeah.
Like, there was never any issues like, oh, I think Sahar's a crappy person, or I think Trey's lazy. And like, we were blessed in that sense. So yeah, that's all I can add to that. Just like any other marriage, we had some challenges. Some of it's involved family, some hasn't. So the second part of that question is, I guess, current. Does your family make your marriage difficult? And for me, I can easily say no. Like, if anything, they make it easier. They've been here for us, but they've also given us space. That's speaking for or to everyone. Like, her mom, her dad, her grandparents, even her brother. Like, her brother comes and helps us out with like IT type stuff, and her mom cooks food for us. Her dad helps us figure out stuff that we haven't dealt with as adults. Same for my family. Like, my mom cooks, she comes and visits, she might help clean up, but they all know their boundaries. My dad and stepmom help out with different stuff, and maybe if we, you know, need a vehicle, they'll let us drive their car. Our parents let us drive their car. Like, everyone has been there for us in different ways, and it's really been a blessing. Like, no one's made anything more difficult for us.
Just to kind of add to that, I feel like all of our parents all together, step parents and everything, just from their own life lessons and things that they've been through, I think that they've really helped us, and I think that they all have a really good understanding of, as in-laws, how involved they should be in our marriage and in our life, and where they should give us space. And I think from all of their personal experience, they have made our first couple months of marriage just like filled with blessings in so many ways, and we can't be like enough thankful for that.
Yeah. So if you guys are watching our family, like, seriously, we're super grateful for every single one of you. Like,
yes.
You've all helped us in a lot of different ways. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and get into pretty heavy one here, and this is asked a lot more specifically towards Sahara because I think there's a lot more women in her situation. So we might spend a little bit more time on this one because we want to get the answer out there and help people out. But the question is, how and when did you tell your parents that you were, dating someone out of culture?
So I told my parents almost immediately from the beginning. We met online and we started talking, and we were talking for about 2 months. We did not meet up. I had never just met someone online and gone on a date with them or anything like that. So it was something that I was wary about. But at the same time, I talked to him for about 2 months and I was like, oh, okay, like he doesn't seem scary. I think I have some feelings for him. But I want to, like, I'm someone that shares my whole life with my mom. Like that's my rock. That's the person I'm the closest to because I don't have a sister, so I share everything with my mom, like everything about my day and all of that. So I immediately went to her and I was like, hey, there's this person I met online. You may not approve of me dating him. You may not approve of this at all. He's not Pakistani, and I just don't want to hide my life from you. I don't ever want to lie to you, and I don't want to lose your respect. So I would like to meet this person, and I know my limits, my halal limits is what I always say. And just to kind of hold your trust, I'm going to tell you where I'm going, when I'm with him, when I'm getting to know him. And so she knew about our first date, and she met him by our second date. And he met my whole family, really, by our second date.
Mm-hmm. And kind of continuing off of what she said, if anyone's really asking that question for advice, like the number one thing we tell people that are getting into an interracial relationship or intercultural, like tell whoever you're afraid to tell, do it sooner rather than later. Like when you really think about it, whether you tell them right now, it's going to be extremely difficult. Whether you tell them in 3 months, a year, it's going to be extremely difficult. Only difference is all that time that you wait, you're eating away at yourself. You're stressing yourself. You're probably stressing your partner. It's going to make your relationship a lot rockier. So no matter what, it's going to be scary, and the response might not always be great. Like ours wasn't perfect right out the gate, but once you do that and get that scary moment out of the way, you can know what the exact issue is with your parents, and you can start working towards solutions and figuring out how we need to get to where we need to get. So that is the biggest thing we can stress to people. Do not hide your relationship. Like it's gonna be hard regardless. Just have that moment of bravery. Either do it with your partner or do it without your partner, whatever you think is better, but that's it. Just like talk about it, get it out of the way, start working towards a solution. Yep. Okay, here's a fun one. Is it my turn to answer first?
Thank you.
Favorite part of being married? So pretty much, like, I know it sounds cliche and a lot of people say it or try to portray that they've married their best friend, which that is the goal. Like you want to marry your best friend, but in our case, I'm not sitting here faking it on camera. Like Sahara literally is my best friend, and that's been my favorite thing is like, because when we dated, we were traditional, so we didn't live together. We saw each other anywhere from 0 times a week, depending on how busy we were, to 3 at the most. So we always had this space, and it was beneficial in some ways. Some other ways it was more difficult, But yeah, being married has allowed us to be together 24/7, and for a lot of people, like, they don't enjoy that. But it's been like pretty much nothing but fun and just being silly and going on little adventures. So that's it for me. Like that's been my favorite part of being married, is just how much time I get to spend with her.
Yeah, I think mine is similar in that sense, because what Trey's saying, like we were traditional in the sense where before marriage, while we were still getting to know each other, we did not live together at any time. And just going again off of being very respectful to your families, like just to respect our mothers and our cultures and all that, we knew when to limit ourselves and when to not cross certain lines, in the sense of like, y'all, we just got married almost 3 months ago. I'm 25 years old, and I had a curfew. Like I had to be back home in my bed by like 11:30. So it just came to being really respectful. So I think that's my favorite thing about being married. I don't have to go home. I get to live with him.
Yep. I mean, I like that too. Like, we'd always be hanging out. We pretty much, almost like we were watching the clock. We'd be like, oh, Sahar has to be home at this time. Like, out of respect, we're gonna do it. We're not gonna be one of those couples. It's like, oh no, we're gonna do it alone. We're adults. Like, our main goal was to build the relationship with her parents and with my parents. So our priority was respect. And yeah, she was always having to leave at a certain time, and I was like, oh my goodness.
Poor babe. No, but for real, like, just to go off of that again, like, just to have that respect, like, we knew we wanted to get married. Even when we were engaged, y'all, I still had this curfew. And it's just like, it's a little bit of time where you just have to kind of show your family respect. Okay, they have certain rules, just follow by them. I lived under my parents' roof. I gotta follow their rules. If I want to live under my own roof, I can make my own rules and follow them, right? And so it was just a little bit of time where we gotta be respectful, do certain things that we don't agree with, but in the long run, we get to have each other for the rest of our lives and stay up till 3 o'clock in the morning and watch movies and do whatever we want. So that's why we're huge on just respect your parents and your family as much as you can, because that really helps with bringing the whole interracial thing together.
Yeah, but I mean, there's a fine line to that too. Don't let them, step all over you and like crush your relationship or ruin your relationship. Just find that balance. All right, yeah, that's for another time and another question, really. So we'll move on to the next one. Sahar's turn to answer first. Do y'all want kids?
Definitely. We both want kids. However many kids we're blessed with and that we can financially support and provide happy, healthy lives for. But my max limit would be 4. My minimum limit, I would like to have at least 2 kids.
Yeah, so I guess ours is pretty similar. Like, my minimum I would like is 2. Ideally, I would have 1 boy, 1 girl. And my max is 3. But if I'm being honest, like, I could push myself to 4. That seems a little bit, but at least we're not like completely on different pages, Like, oh, I don't want kids, or I want 5 kids, like complete opposites. So that's our answer. I think she also wants at least a boy and a girl.
But again, whatever we're blessed with.
Yep, that's the main thing. Like, regardless, a lot of people aren't able to have kids. I think if we weren't able to, we're both open to adoption. So we'll just see where it takes us. All right, we got a few repeats in here, guys. So bear with me while I look. Okay, here's one that we haven't answered yet. That a lot of people ask. I don't think we answered it. How did you meet? We didn't answer that, right?
No.
So I'll keep this one short. We don't want to spill over into like more, so this one's really going to be super short. We met on Tinder. We talked for 2 months on Tinder, and then we met in person. So yeah, I mean, the short answer is we did not meet through friends or family or out in person or in public. It was on Tinder, just a random match.
And I was on Tinder as a joke.
Yep.
And I was only on it for 3 days, and he wasn't creepy. We only talked about Disney movies, so I decided to keep him in my life.
Yeah, I think I was on for a couple months, 2 or 3 months, I don't know. But at that point, I had never ever taken it seriously or anything like that.
Mm-hmm.
All right, next one is, of course, the hardest start. All right, so the next one is, where do you live / where are you both from?
So we were both born and raised in Houston, Texas, and we both still live in Houston, Texas. Both of us and our families have lived here our entire lives. My parents are originally from Pakistan, from Karachi, and they both moved here my dad in the late 80s, my mom in the early 90s. And so now they've both been in the US longer than they have ever lived in Pakistan. And that's kind of that.
Yeah, in my family, on my mom's side, the Hispanic side, my grandparents were born in Mexico, and they came over, I think, kind of young adults. I want to say probably in their 30s. They came to America. So my mom was born here, but she speaks fluent Spanish. As far as my dad, I think my grandpa was born here, but his dad was the one who immigrated. So I believe my great grandpa was from either, Scotland or Ireland.
Just kind of go off of what you said. You said that your mom speaks Spanish fluently. Both of my parents speak Urdu fluently, and so Urdu was my first language. English was actually my second language. So I do speak Urdu fluently, and we both do plan on teaching our children Urdu and Spanish. We will, however, be taking like actual Spanish classes and Urdu classes, because I feel like the Spanish that you know and the Urdu that I know is kind of now like kind of whitewashed because we've grown up in America. So we want to make sure that we're teaching our kids the language correctly, the correct pronunciations and things like that. So.
All right, so here's a good one. This is actually like directed towards Sahar, but she answered first, so I'll just flip it towards my perspective, and then she'll answer like how it was originally intended. But so the original question is, did you expect yourself to get married to a non-Pakistani? So I'm gonna flip that around and just be like, did I expect myself to marry a Pakistani? And like the short answer is, I guess growing up, no. If we're going just based off being like a young kid, I was always most attracted to and not even just physically, just for whatever reason, I was always attracted to Hispanic girls. I don't know if that's because it kind of came from my mom being Hispanic, but I think I envision myself being with a Hispanic girl. And I'm being honest with you guys, and not to offend any girls out there, but I was never attracted to or ever had any relationships growing up with white women. Like, I just never did. I dated a Hispanic girl before. I was always into just different ethnicities and like skin colors and stuff. I don't know why, but yeah, I guess my short answer would be, I didn't envision myself with someone who's Pakistani. It just ended up happening, so that's it for me.
My kind of answer is, I don't know. I never had like a set thing in my mind that this is the type of person that I'm going to marry. Like, it is going to be a Pakistani person, or it is going to be an American person. I didn't have like a set thing in my mind. Now, I will say that my parents had an arranged marriage, and so the way they raised us is they said that, them personally, from their experience going through an arranged marriage, they didn't want their children to have that. And so they had told us from a very young age that when it came to marriage, they were okay with us picking whoever we wanted to marry, as long as they were good people, they came from good families. They wanted to leave that decision to us, because I think that they realized, like, from being in an arranged marriage, that when there's like marital issues and things like that, you kind of go to blaming the people that brought you together versus being like, no, this is the person I picked. So I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, I'm like, while she's talking, I was thinking back to like when I was little, and I just remember, like, because I was little, obviously I was watching Disney, and like right off the bat, Disney princesses, I was always into just like Pocahontas, Jasmine.
I can see the colonizer comments.
Yeah, what's the girl's name in Hunchback of Notre Dame?
Wait, she's the gypsy, right?
Yeah.
I don't know her
So
name.
like, it's so weird, just even at a very little age, like 6-year-old me, I was always more attracted to just more like ethnic looking people. It's weird. But yeah, I don't know. I never had a like tunnel vision like, oh, I'm gonna marry a brown girl. Like, definitely that was not me, it just happened.
Me either. I don't think I was ever like, I'm gonna marry a white dude. Or a Hispanic guy, or a mixed guy.
Alright, so this one's for Sahar to start with. How/when did you know that he was the one or she was the one?
We haven't answered this question. There's no like set time or set thing that kind of makes you know that someone's the one. Again, like, I'm sure there's people that believe in fate and stuff like that, and you may have a totally different experience than us, and we're not saying it isn't possible. But I personally didn't have like a moment where I'm like, he is the one. And there were like multiple things that occurred in the way that he is, the way he acts, the way he carries himself, what his morals are, that kind of made me be like, okay, I like this dude. And I think I can see myself marrying him. So that's just my very general answer on that.
Yeah, I guess mine would be, so just like getting to know other girls growing up and as a young adult, things kind of progress the same. You know, the questions: what are you into? Do you spend time with family? What's your favorite color? But after getting to know Sahar, things felt different with her from all the other girls that I had ever spoken to. Like, not even dated, just getting to know girls. Like, the big difference for me was things just felt different. And I don't know how to really put it into words, but yeah, we just aligned on a lot of important things in life as far as like our morals, if we want kids, if we're family oriented. So I think that had a lot to do with it, just the way that we lined up. We were both goal oriented, both like pretty driven. So yeah, I never had, you know, I know a lot of you girls want to hear like the first time I saw her on the first date, I like had this movie moment where I was like, oh, she's the one. Like, I saw her and I just like felt warm inside. Like, I'm not gonna lie, like that didn't happen. But you do have this moment when you're getting to know someone and dating and spending time with them where you have this sudden realization, almost like, okay, I'm just talking to her, we're friends, maybe we do like each other, but there's this moment where you're like, oh dang, like I really like this girl. And then when you're dating, you have one more moment and it's like, wow, like I might want to marry her. So yeah, you do have those little realizations, but that's it. That's my answer. All right, let's see if we can find any more in here. I think we've answered a lot of the questions we get.
We're gonna do a lot more Q&As. Like, this isn't the only one. So if you feel like we didn't answer one of your questions, you know, I'm gonna be posting on Instagram a lot more in my stories that hit, like, if you have any questions right now that you want us to answer more in depth on our YouTube videos, then go ahead and at this time put your questions in.
Yeah, like this one may seem a little deeper and a little heavier, but we're asking, or we're answering the questions that we get a lot or that have like, you know, more weight to them. Yeah. We have a lot in here that are more, you know, just silly. We've tried to mix in a couple, but yeah, every time we do a Q&A, it's not gonna be like this serious, you know? But I'll throw a fun one in there. I think, is it your turn to answer first or mine? Your turn? Okay. This person, I'm gonna read exactly what they said. Who fell first, bestie?
You. I really think it was you. I think that I'm a lot tougher in the sense that I'm like not very lovey-dovey and good with words and things like that. Like, if you were to ask who's more romantic, which this is like a totally different question, but I feel like it would be you. And like, you're more like, oh, like taking care of me, like wanting to be romantic and things like that. So for that reason, I feel like you were the one that fell first.
Yeah, I mean, I think the cliche is pretty accurate for the most part, that men usually fall first, but women fall harder.
Yeah.
Slash like love harder, you know? They just love a lot like deeper, more intense, they probably feel it more, but I think I don't know when she fell for me, but I fell for her pretty early. So I can't give an answer because I don't know like when she fell for me, but I did, like I was pretty, you know, just in deep pretty quickly. Like, I mean, I really like this girl, and I think what had a lot to do with that is like, I think in society in general, women have a lot more options. So, like, even if I don't know what was going on as far as other people she was talking to when we first met, but like, she probably had a lot more options on the table than me, if I'm being honest. And like, so when guys get that one connection, they fall a lot quicker because we don't have girls in our DMs all day, every day when we're single. Some guys do, like freakishly good looking guys, but for the most part, most guys don't. So yeah, I think we fall quicker. And I think it has a lot to do with that.
I kind of have a backstory to this, which will prove that Trey fell first. So in the first 2 months of us just talking, Trey had a lot going on where he was like moving and he was traveling, and he actually traveled from Houston to China because his sister was living in China at the time for 5 years. So he went on a little family vacation with his siblings and his mom, and they went to go visit his older sister. And while he was there, he got to visit the Great Wall of China. take in mind this boy was only talking to me for like a month and a half at that time. He wrote my name on the Great Wall of China.
I did,
Like-
but I was trying to impress her, and it obviously worked, y'all.
I was like, okay, we haven't even met in person yet, and you're writing my name on the Great Wall of China.
Like when I think back on it, it seems sort of cringe, but I think it was a grand gesture that might have gained me some points.
It was. I was like, all right, he's serious.
Yep. All right, so this is one of the deeper ones that we get a lot. A lot of people message us about this. I'm gonna let Sahar answer it, regardless if it's her turn or not, because she had to deal with it more than I did. But also, with that being said, we're gonna start wrapping it up. Maybe 2 to 4 more questions, depending on how long it takes us to answer these. But this question is, how did you convince your parents to marry a white guy?
What kind of question is that? Okay, so backstory. My mom's brother, my mamu, he is actually married to my aunt who is Mexican and Spanish. I believe her dad was from, his family from Spain, and then her mom's from Mexico, and she was born and raised in Houston. So my cousins growing up were half Pakistani and half Mexican. So I think the interracial part on my mom's side of the family was not a very big deal at all, because they had seen that it's completely okay to raise children from 2 different cultures, and we've seen the good, the bad, the ugly, all of it, and then we've, you know, like to us it was just normal to have half Mexican, half Pakistani cousins. Like it was just a norm. So I'll say the interracial part, the how did you convince your parents to let you marry a white guy, I don't think that was a very big issue, personally, for my family. And then also to kind of go on my dad's side of the family, there's not a lot of my dad's side of the family that is like very close to us or that lives near us. So his side of the family wasn't really an issue at all.
Yeah, and I think to add on to what she said, when people use the word convince, they're probably talking about how did we, you know, talk someone into something, like how did we, you know, convince someone, almost like sell them. But we didn't have to do it through words. A lot of it was just forming a relationship. I spent a lot of time over at her house getting to know, especially her mom. Like, we bonded on food. You know, a lot of people say like the way to a man's heart is through his stomach. Like, I guess her mom was going based off that, because we just bonded so much off of food. And I had already been a fan of like Pakistani food before I met her, but it would be such a occasional random thing with my sister. Like, we'd go out and get it once a month or every couple months. But I was like, dang, like now I can go over here and like get to see this girl that I like, and I get to eat that good food all the time. So yeah, I mean, really, we didn't have to do any convincing.
Yeah. When it came to the interracial part.
Yeah, it was just being there. Her coming over to my house, me coming over to her house, but with their family. When we came over, we didn't just, all the time, we didn't go lock ourselves up in the room. Like, a lot of times we'd be sitting downstairs,
We were
spending time with family.
always with family now.
Yeah, so, you know, that's the big thing. There wasn't a whole lot of convincing to do. It took time, obviously. We talk about it. We can kind of lead this into another question we get a lot, like how long do we date before marriage? So, I mean, it was a lot. It was 5.5 years of us getting to know each other's family and just showing who we were, like, as people.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah. This is a good one. I'll answer this one first. At what point did you know that you were ready for marriage? So there's a couple stages to that. I feel like, honestly, after about a year of dating in person, I feel like we might have actually had the conversation with each other that we either needed to, you know, go separate ways or like start being serious. Like, are you interested in marriage? Like, do you want to fight that fight? So we had, after about a year, I feel like we were both on that same page because we agreed to it. But to actually getting married, obviously, I just said that after about a year and a half, we were on the same page. We didn't get married until 5.5 years of dating. And that's because we both wanted to be at a certain point in our lives, as far as, you know, career, finances, school, even just personal development, like who we are as people. We had goals in mind. So for anyone wondering, we didn't put off marriage at all out of like, oh, I don't know if I want to get married, cold feet, like not knowing if she was the right one. Like I knew, and we knew so much so that we created goals and we started working towards it. So that's my answer on when I knew that we were ready for marriage.
You may not have recorded that part. It was like paused, but I'll just keep going. So my answer to that is going to be the same. Like we discussed marriage really early on. I want to say like maybe like a year into dating, like you're saying, we had that initial conversation. Like, is this really the path that we want to go down? And then it's deciding like, you want to battle for this?
Yeah.
So that's what it was.
Yep. All right, guys, we'll answer one more, and it's pretty quick. A lot of people want to know this because they came across our TikTok because of our Nika videos. We'll just answer it for everyone real quick. When is our reception?
Our reception is in a little less than 2 weeks. It's scheduled for September 18th. So we had our Nika ceremony June 19th, and we had our rukhsati for anybody that's Pakistani. We did the Nika and the rukhsati on the same day, and it was just a small, intimate, like friendly, COVID-safe wedding, which is close friends and family. If anyone didn't feel comfortable, they didn't come, which was fine. And then we pushed our reception/walima out further, just in hopes that things with COVID would have settled down a little bit, or that more people would be vaccinated and it would be safer for people to gather. Not realizing that it was actually going to be the complete opposite.
Yep.
And it's actually more dangerous now to hang out with a variant and things like that. So unfortunately, we can't reschedule anything unless there's any like state mandate orders or anything that go in place, because then we're not able to get a refund. But if for some reason that happens, then we may reschedule it. But for now, it's scheduled for September 18th.
Yep. All right, great. I think that's gonna be it. So, I mean, I'll leave y'all with a little bit more about us. We post 6 times on TikTok a day. We go live on TikTok twice a day, and we post 1 YouTube video every 2 weeks. That's the schedule that we're on right now, so you can look forward to that. And I do want to ask if you guys enjoyed this to please subscribe and share it with your friends.
Yep.
Other than that, thank you for all the questions.
Yes.
It's fun to sit down and be able to talk to you guys and get to know you guys. If you find us through YouTube, come on TikTok because we can be more interactive. Like we have a lot of followers that we sit there and we actually know now. Like we consider some of them friends. So
we know a lot of our moderators by their like names and where they live and things, and it's just so cool to us to be able to interact with all of you and see what parts of the world you're in. And then also I will say, if you are going to go follow us on TikTok, like Trey said, our username on TikTok is the same as it is on YouTube, which is Samar and Trey.
yep, you can also find us both on Instagram. I don't exactly know our names, but you can find the links through our TikTok. We'll probably add them to YouTube someday. Other than that, that's it. We had fun, and we will see you guys again next week.
Yep. You can put some ideas that you'd like to see for YouTube videos down below, or on our TikToks, or just message us on Instagram. We do like to talk to a lot of y'all.
Yep.
All right. Thank you.
All right. See y'all.